Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fishhead Creations podcast, where I pull out one of my interesting knitting projects every time and talk you through the details. Welcome back if you're a new viewer or old viewer, whatever. I'm glad to have you here. 2 weeks have passed again and it certainly has turned to summer. We always have quite a lot of wind and rain in the last week of June, and we did have that last weekend, so it's not as bad as 2018 in terms of it being dry, and we have all the hay for the winter, which is quite a relief, as the farmers among you will know better than I do. But yeah, the first cut of hay got in dry and we have enough and we're fine. But we have forecast to have 30 degrees on Thursday, Friday, which I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but let's just say way too hot and we're probably good. I really stopped to function above 20 degrees Celsius. We have 22, 23 today. I can kind of bear that, but not really, and 30 is way too much. So I'll be podcasting today, and I hope it maybe isn't as bad anymore in 2 weeks. It's certainly too warm to be wearing the shawl, but I felt rather exposed without it, so I'll keep it on for podcasting. If you can hear any noise outside, it's because for some reason the company looking after all the green spaces outside these buildings seem to think lawn mowing is a daily necessity from morning to evening. And for some reason they may be doing that, but it still looks all terrible and yeah. So if there's any ambient background noise, that's lawnmowers. I cannot do anything about it, and I will not close the windows because at least it's windy outside, so I get a slight cool breeze in here. Yeah. On that note, I will also be talking about something which I don't usually talk about, which is a work in progress. Don't hear me say that very often, but it's a work in progress that's almost finished, and I hope to not have it in my house anymore in 2 weeks. So it's now or never, and it's quite an interesting construction. So here it is. As you can see, I'm just on the ribbing at the neck, and it is still missing the bottom ribbing on the body. We will get to that later. This is a sweater for my mom, who has been nagging me for another sweater forever, and this is why I don't like knitting for her, because she always changes her mind every 5 minutes. I'm quite happy with how it turned out in the end, but she requested asymmetrical sleeves, and by the way, she does sometimes watch my podcast, which I didn't know. So Mom, if you're watching, hi, it's almost done. She requested asymmetrical sleeves, which made me quite nervous. I'm still not sure what I think about it. I don't think I like it. I wouldn't wear it. But if she wants it, I can knit it and then not look at it anymore, because it really makes me nervous. And these are not the same. Yeah. So, what is this pattern? This is a mashup of pretty much 2 Kate Davies patterns. The basic shape, mainly, is from the bluebells from Kate Davies yokes. Except for the waist shaping, we left that out because she didn't want it. She just wanted a straight body, and there's more to say about the body. It's pretty much the most interesting part. But then, yeah, it's a standard tapered sleeve, which doesn't want to show up for some reason. Where's my underarm? Here. It's a standard tapered sleeve. The top is mainly a raglan up to here, just a standard raglan, decreases every other round, and then it has a bit of a yoke for the colorwork. So after the raglan shaping is completed, this changes to a round yoke construction. There's 1 round of decreases before the colorwork, there's a few decreases in the colorwork, and then there's 2 rounds of I think only 1 round of rather rapid decreases after the yoke, and there's a bit of short row shaping. I'm not sure how much you can see it because my needles are still in, but there's 3 sets of short rows in the back to just very slightly raise it. My mom and I are similar size. Usually what's fitted on me has slight positive ease on her, which is how she prefers to wear her sweaters anyway. So I pretty much knit this to my size, and it will have slight positive ease on her. She has broader shoulders than I do, sorry, but she has a smaller bust, so we can pretty much exchange clothes. That will just be a bit more snug on me. So I will be able to try this on, especially for length, because she was taller than I am. I'm not sure she is now, so it will be okay. But yeah, it's pretty much a standard raglan with a bit of yoke shaping at the top, which I have come to like recently, just because when you do a raglan up to the neckline, you will have a rectangle as your base form for starting the ribbing from, and it will stand up in a rectangle sometimes, especially in the yarns I like to use. And if you do just a bit of a round yoke shaping for the last few decreases, you start from a round yoke after you do a round yoke shaping, so you will have a round neckline, and I think it just looks neater in most cases. So yeah, as you may have noticed, there are no bluebells on this bluebell sweater, which is because my mom has a pair of gloves from Kate Davies Ursula mittens, and she really liked that pattern. So this is not the actual repeat, but it's pretty much how the repeat looks knit up from the Ursula thing. Usually in these triangles you would already have the start of the next repeat, so we just took out this triangle zigzag motif and put it on the yoke and on the sleeves. It's a pretty short repeat, 12 stitches I think, so it was easy to put anywhere in the sweater, and there is no full repeat on the sleeve. So you can see there's 2 little blobs next to each other, and on this one as well, if I can find the start and end of the round, it doesn't work out exactly to be a full repeat just because there's increases in this repeat. So yeah, I don't think it matters. It's under the arm, nobody will ever see it. The whole thing is knit bottom up, as you can see, so the sleeves are knit bottom up, 2mm needles all the way through. Just your standard increases, set stitches aside for the underarm, as you do, same here. But, and that's the interesting point, the body is not hand knit, which is why it is missing its bottom ribbing. If I unroll it here, you can see it's on waste yarn, and the whole body has been knit flat and seamed on my machine. So I have done a few pillowcases, as you can see behind me, so I just figured out my gauge from there, and it pretty much matched exactly what I wanted for the gauge for this one, which is 27 stitches by 10 centimeters roughly. And if I hold it up like this, you can maybe see kind of a line right around here where it switches from machine knitting to hand knitting, but the gauge matches quite closely. The machine is just more consistent than I am, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm still very new to machine knitting, but I can do rectangles, and my mom didn't want any waist shaping, which the one time I tried to knit on the machine for myself was what pretty much drove me nuts, because I do want my waist shaping. But for this one, it really just was 2 rectangles, and it worked out quite well. I think it will even have some positive ease on me, but that's fine, it's not too much. And yeah, I was just completely annoyed knitting this flippy floppy open thing, so I went ahead and seamed it up when I had knit a few rounds on the yoke. I just did a metal stitch up the side, so you can see here. You don't really see the seam from the outside, but in this thin yarn it can do with the seam. I don't think there's any problem that will come from it. If anything, it will be more stable. So yeah, it saved me a lot of time. It took me maybe 2 hours to knit the body on the machine. The front, the first piece I actually knit, worked out really well on the back. There's two places where it didn't really work out well. So here, I don't know if you can see it if I hold it up against the wall. The tension wasn't right. The yarn didn't come out of the cake smoothly, so it snagged. I lost maybe 20 stitches of the needles, but I was able to fix it. And here again, I don't know what happened, some tension issue, but it looks okay. I need to duplicate stitch this one point, and it doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't look terrible, and it will be on the lower back. So if anybody looks too closely there, be my guest. I was really happy to save so much time on knitting this, because I didn't look forward to knitting a whole body without any shaping and just one color and stockinette. I do enjoy my stockinette bodies, but I really like the waist shaping as kind of a progress keeper of how far I have come, and if it's just no shaping at all in the round at such a tight gauge, it really gets tedious quickly. So I was quite happy to be able to knit this on the machine and then just do the more interesting and relaxing parts, like sleeves. I actually pretty much enjoy knitting sleeves bottom up on DPNs, and the yoke with the decreases and the color work, to knit those by hand. So if I ever knit such fine weight sweaters again that don't need any shaping, I may well use the machine again. For some reason it's kind of biasing. I don't know if you can see it, it's slightly turning around and looking a bit skewed, but I think most of it will block out when there's a bottom hem on it, which I need to do later. So I need to finish the neckline ribbing, which pretty much is only 3 more rounds in the bind off, and then I need to try it on, see how long it needs to be, see how much ribbing I have to do, but I don't think it will be too much, maybe 10 rounds. So I just used a contrast color waist yarn to cast on. It's not in any way secure, it's just open stitches, live stitches at the bottom. So we'll just go ahead and pick up the row where both yarns meet. Pretty easy. This whole thing is knit in Holzgarn Noble, which is their lamb's wool cashmere blend, which was gifted to me, so thank you. I was sure I wouldn't wear this color. I'm not sure how much it's showing, but it's a pretty bright red and it's way out of my comfort zone. I would use it as a contrast color, and I have a significant amount left over, so I may well use it as a contrast color, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't wear a garment in this color at all. So my mom is happy to get it, I'm happy to get it out of my stash. And yeah, other than the machine knitting part, there's not too much to say about it. It's a pretty basic garment, so that's it. Still, I'm really happy to have it off my table and to cast on something more exciting for me, because if anything, I'm a garment knitter for myself. Which, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen in my stories that this has turned into a problem, because I have no idea how to store all my hand-knit sweaters anymore. I really need a larger wardrobe. It's a completely legit thought that you have to move because you cannot store all your hand knits anymore and need a larger bedroom or a craft room for a larger wardrobe to store it all, right? Right? Because that's what I'm planning to do. Not anytime soon, but we have started looking for a house or a small farm. So keep your fingers crossed for me if you will, because I really would like to move out of this small flat and be able to keep horses and maybe a few sheep just at my house. That's my long-term dream, so we shall see what comes from it. But of course we are still in the very early phases of looking, and there's not too much to be had around here, and we need to stay close to this larger city, and close to cities is always more expensive, so we expect to need a few years to find what we want. But one day I will have a larger wardrobe, and one day I will not need to restrict myself in knitting just for space reasons. Not that I'm doing now anyway, but it is turning into a problem. And then my boyfriend needs more sweaters, because he only has 3 that I knit him and 2 more that I've bought him, wool sweaters, and that's all he's wearing all the time, so he needs one that's not as hot maybe, and maybe 2. He needs more than 3 hand knit sweaters if I have 30, right? So, oh my. Whatever. Thank you so much for watching. I will link to my project page and all the places you can find me below, as always. And I don't think I ever said my name, but those of you who watch will know it already. Everyone else, who cares? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.